Hey everybody, happy Monday. It's Alexis with Create Your Future, and I am back today, you guys, with a new video. Today, I have a new success story to share and just some tips and tricks, as always, about manifesting. Okay, so before I get started, as always, the links to booking one-on-one coaching, one-on-one hypnosis sessions, and all the information about my self-study courses are in the box below. And you guys, I just have to say that I'm super excited about this success story. This is something I haven't talked about in a while, and I think that this is going to be very fun topic for a Monday. Okay, so let me I'm going to pull up the success story here so I can read it, and then I just want to talk about a little bit of the backstory of this client and what she was experiencing before this all happened, before we did coaching and worked together and kind of recreated things. So she has known her specific person for 3 to 4 years. They had a hot and cold relationship. They had a lot of things that I see a lot, like he wasn't putting in a lot of effort to make dates with her. He wasn't really choosing her, like wasn't making her a priority. He has a daughter and she has 2 sons. So there were some kiddos involved. And we really created and worked on having a mental diet and having her focus be on exactly what she wanted in all of these areas. I also want to say too, that it was either her family was also against them, didn't like him, and her friends also said a lot of bad things about him. So really what I want to say here as kind of like roundabout all of it was that she felt like everything was against her. And I think her kids, like the sons, didn't like him. It just seemed like everybody was kind of like reflecting to her that, you know, this isn't possible. You shouldn't be with this guy. This isn't the right person for you. You've got to move on. She was hearing that a lot, which I hear that clients say, that other people say to them a lot. So I think like, wow, what a great success story to see that she turned this around by, I want to say, focusing on 2 things. Focusing on herself and her base, changing her assumptions and her beliefs about herself and about her reality in general. And then also, of course, she changed the story about the specific person. And then we did a lot of affirmations and changed the story about everyone else, supporting her, supporting them, and it working out for her. Okay. So if this is you, I picked this one for you too. All right. Dear Alexis, thank you so much for your hypnosis sessions as well as your coaching sessions. I can't tell you enough how you've helped me, pushed me along in my times of doubt and when I thought everything was against me and I thought nothing was working out. Do you remember the time that I told you nothing is working, everything is against me and nothing is working out? And she says, yes, I remember that. I was like, she's talking as me. Thank you so much for that session. Thank you so much for all of the sessions. Thank you so much for getting on track, even when you had to apologize to me because you felt like you were yelling at me because you could only tell me what to do and you couldn't get into my actual mind. LOL. I am now happy to say that everyone seems to be supporting us. Everyone is supporting us and saying good things about me and my specific person, even people that I hadn't actually affirmed for, ... So it seems like my brand new assumption is now taking root. Thank you for everything. I can honestly report also that he's now making plans with me. He's booking things in advance for us. He's telling me that he has future plans for us, like far, far, far in the future. And yes, we are definitely in a committed relationship. He did exactly what I wanted him to do and what I affirmed for and what I felt into, which was take me out for a nice dinner. And he popped the question and asked me if I was ready to be in a relationship. He apologized to me for all the things he had done wrong. And I sat there kind of dumbfounded for a while I was listening. I didn't know what to say, but I decided, no, I know what to say. I'm responding correctly. And I affirmed for that. And then it all worked out. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you in my next session. LOL. Okay. So yeah, like this story had lots of LOLs because it was like, almost now with the time too, she turned so much of this around, you guys, in record time. Okay. So I want to say to you, if you're someone that this speaks to, like if you have one family member or you have guy friends or girlfriends or people that you speak to in your reality that are not in favor of you and your specific person, I will give you some guidance on what to do about that today and what we affirm for. But like, when she began really working on this and she diligently thought new thoughts. She was also doing kind of like robotic affirming where she was saying her affirmations over and over and over again because that worked for her. It doesn't work for everybody because there's not one way. to manifest and create with your thoughts, but it worked for her. So she repetitively said a lot of the affirmations. And then I would do coaching with her like once a week or every other week to kind of stay on track, especially in her times of doubt, right? Because remember that it takes time to settle into a new assumption, to create new thoughts, to create new feelings within. And then it happens outside of you. So there is that period of time and there can be lulls, right? I mean, things can look kind of topsy-turvy. Everyone can be saying one thing and they can change their mind the next day the moment you change your thinking. Okay. So like I said, she worked on three areas on her self-concept. She also worked on what the story that was going on with him, which so much of her negative concept of self led to a negative concept of him, meaning what she just doesn't want. And then she worked on everyone supports me, everyone supports us. Now, I will say that when I actually got her in session, because when I began working with her, like so many, I mean, 90% of my clients, when they book their first session, they're anxious, they feel overwhelmed, they think like, I don't think that I create my reality, Alexis. How can I not believe this after so long? I've watched all of your videos. I've watched all of the videos and I still feel stuck. This isn't working. This is impossible. Okay. That's very common. So she was like that too. But once I got her to kind of settle into herself in session, to focus on what she was really thinking, and I would ask her questions, where is this coming from? What's this about? Where is this coming from? What's this about? Who am I within? Right? What's my assumption that's creating this? She said, oh my gosh, you're right. Everything seems to not work out for me. Everything's against me. I'm unlucky. People don't support me. There were lots of thoughts and lots of assumptions, lots of beliefs she had that were like that. Okay. And frankly, I think a lot of people have those because remember your life experience, you have something happen, you have another thing happen, you have another thing happen, and then we create thoughts, which create assumptions about it. So it's not that crazy. Okay. And frankly, none of it is because it's just your mind is just data that we can change, restructure, reconfigure, believe differently. Right. So I said, okay, well, let's start thinking and let's start assuming. Now we start assuming by thinking new thoughts for most people because your assumptions are the same as your beliefs. But I said, let's just trash these beliefs. And she said, what? Is that possible? And I said, yeah. I said, so we've decided that we believe people don't support us. No one's here for me. Nothing ever works out for me was the more deeper belief because she felt it so strongly. And I said, let's trash it. Throw it behind you. Imagine you've got a trash can. It's no longer here because the thing is in the dimension of reality where you have what you want, theoretically speaking, those beliefs like don't exist. So we got to get them to go. So I also want to say today, if you're one of the clients, or I hear this a lot because everyone's become so versed in their minds because of YouTube and understands what's going on. But if you're saying to yourself, I have this belief, I have an assumption, like if something happens to you and then you say, but I have a belief, like let's say your SP is a guy and he doesn't call you. And then you say to yourself or to other people or to like someone you work with like me, I have a belief that men don't communicate, right? Instead of reiterating it, how about you start saying, oh yeah, I used to have that belief. That belief is gone. Imagine a trash can. Imagine something behind you. Imagine that you have a way to work with your mind to tell the beliefs like, hey, I'm done. Okay. Just want to say, like, make it easy on yourself, right? Let's not learn about the mind. And then remember, your mind hears. That's the crazy thing, you guys. Your mind hears you. I have this belief that men don't communicate. So all that happens then is that men don't communicate. That is that simple. Your universe is fairly binary. It's listening to what you want, what you don't want. And when you think about things a lot, then they have an interesting way of showing up. Okay. And it happens in my life too, not necessarily with that scenario, but with everything. It's like, we really want to watch and be vigilant about what are we speaking into existence? What are we thinking into existence? I know it's difficult. I find the same difficulties when things are stressful, things are difficult, or something seems to not be working out for me, but I bring myself back to baseline in my own journey and find a way to get centered, secure, stable again, to get back on top of my thoughts and my feelings and to do things for myself. Like I told this client to do, and I've said in so many videos, make this a full life practice, right? So any event, back to this client, that's what she did. She changed the story about everybody, which was everybody. So then all of a sudden her girlfriends just started being kind of nonchalant about it. They were like, well, if you like him, like it's bound to work out, right? And her mom started saying like, well, he's still here. You still like him. So maybe it's meant to be. Okay. So people have a funny way of like changing their minds once you change you, because that's all that you're doing. Is the other crazy thing to remember here. You're just changing you. You change you change other people. So we're not mechanically going into reality and like wah, wah, manipulating something, doing something out there. You're changing your perspective. You're changing your assumption. You're changing your thoughts about it. And then things just follow suit through the practice of persistence, right? And not giving a lot of attention, a lot of focus, and a lot of thought to what's happening outside of there in your 3D reality that's not serving you, right? So it's to say, like, if these things are happening outside of you, he's not choosing me, he's not calling, it's saying, oh no, I'm changing my assumptions about him. I'm changing my assumptions about communication. I'm changing my assumptions about everybody, right? So it's like, I am communicated with, I am called. He likes to call me. He likes to hear the sound of my voice. He wants to make sure he talks to me every day. Okay. Those would be some thoughts. But remember that we can't base our thoughts on what's happening out there. We have to be basing our thoughts on, what do I want? What do I desire? What am I choosing? What am I picking? What's the best for me? What am I desiring? What am I wanting? What am I choosing? What's the best for me? Okay. So just like this client, you can totally create from someone that you've known for, like, even if it's a short time or a longer time, you can recreate the whole thing. You can get everybody to support you. You can create that your kids like them, that their kids like you, that your mom, whatever your circumstance is, because I can just hear the thoughts of everybody. But Alexis, my great grandma, or probably would be great grandma. My grandma doesn't like someone wise in your family, like someone that seems like so unmovable, like so real. You guys, it doesn't matter. This applies to everybody, because when you hold thoughts about them, you send thoughts to them. They are connected to you in terms of that. Your thoughts create how they act and how they are outside of you. And actually, this happened recently when I was talking to somebody about somebody else. This was a client, so it's a little bit confidential. And they made a statement that was an assumption about somebody. And then I made a statement that was the opposite assumption. And in scenarios, we had the completely opposite experience, opposite belief, opposite assumption, opposite thoughts, right? So it just goes to show that it really is individual. It really is about what you think, what you believe. And that's exciting information, because that means that you can change it. That means that the moment that you think to yourself, I'm changing this, I'm creating a new, I'm on track, I'm feeling better, I'm safe, I'm stable, I'm secure, I've got this, right? You get yourself into that, then you can really create anything that you desire. All right. So I hope that you found this video helpful and that it's cleared up some things, and that if this is you, if this speaks to you, or if you're in specific person manifesting journey and this helps you stay on track, bravo, amazing. Let's intend to have a great week, and that we're enjoying wherever you are located in the world, enjoying yourself, having some fun, finding some humor with this, staying on track, and being in balance. All right, you guys. So I will see you in my next video, and make today awesome. Bye.